Welcome to Coda for game number 2 of this lower bracket semi-final between two incredibly talented Protosses, spawning in the 4 o'clock position as the red Protoss representing Team Millennium. It's Lilbow, winning the war of attrition and the mind games in game number 1 against the blue Protoss spawning in the 10 o'clock position, representing Team Liquid.net. Ladies and gentlemen, it's MaNa. What kind of mind games are we going to see in game number 2 here? Lilbow and MaNa, both very experienced players. Lilbow producing a lot of good results lately, and MaNa just on a bit of a high at the moment as well. Both sides really clashing at a very, very high level. And the mind games, they're working just a little bit in Lilbow's favor in game number 1. We'll see what game 2 brings. Of course, it's going to be more or less identical builds up to a certain extent. Lilbow was the first to blink in game number 1, with the proxy stargates coming down in the middle of the map. The Oracles arguably didn't make all the difference, but the Blink Stalkers certainly did, and the lack of the DT certainly did as well. The Oracles certainly played their part. So many things, so many moving parts in that game number 1. Really very easy to analyze each individual component, really difficult to dissect and say this plus this would have equaled a different game result or anything like that. Just so difficult when you're playing, especially a mirror matchup. It just becomes a bit more volatile than usual as well. Righty-ho. Let's see what else we've got up our sleeve. MaNa going to be coming out with a little bit of an earlier scout. Looks like the probes are going to pass each other and give it a bit of a high five. Ding! There we go. Lilbow's going to know that MaNa has a probe hanging around, chilling out, checking out his base. Not an awful lot to see, though, in a PvP at the 3.5 minute mark. You will be counting pylons. MaNa sees 3 pylons, so he's alright. There are 3 pylons here as well, though that one's tucked in the back. No doubt this probe is going to be checking that out as well, to see if we're going to be seeing proxies here in game number 2. We see the 2 pylons with the gateway and cybernetics core. Doesn't spot either of the gases, but maybe just seeing the gateway opening is good enough for him. And the probe is going to get out without taking any damage from a potentially angry mothership core. Instant Twilight Council going down here for Lilbow. So again, even though it's a slightly different way, he might be trying to be super aggressive in this game. There's a good path to blink up. And reasonably okay places to blink up here. Not as much. Not as much as some other maps. But definitely more than some as well. There is a little bit of scope to be playing around with that kind of thing. And we actually have Twilight Councils coming down for both players as well. So a blink instantly getting started by Lilbow. I mean, I guess there's the possibility of Dark Templars coming down, but I feel like blink for both players is just more likely at this point. We'll see if MaNa ends up following suit. I could end up eating my words, but no, there we go. So as predicted, blink on both sides. MaNa with his mothership core is going to be able to scout this as well, losing a little bit of health on her, but nothing too major. And that's going to be a good piece of scouting. This mothership core, on the other hand, is going to have to recall. Number of workers killed 1 versus 0, using up all of that MaNa in the recall, and actually taking the mothership core down to 30 out of 130 life as well. I guess it might kind of be worth it for a worker kill. Oh, MaNa needs to be careful. MaNa needs to be very careful indeed. He's going to have to move on back, and I think the Stalkers know that they're not going to be able to do beyond shield damage on that mothership core, so they will back off. Keep an eye out for this pylon. Lilbow was very sneaky in game number 1. Could he end up sneaking it up again in game 2 here? Both sides going for the robotics facilities after blink as well. So playing very identical. Nothing really to tell these two players apart right now. They're both at 25 workers. These are obviously builds that they've done hundreds and hundreds of times before. Instant observers from both of them, wanting to make sure they know what the other player is doing. All very normal stuff. And Lilbow's just peppering pylons all over the map, by the looks of things. Mothership Core coming in once again from MaNa, and that's not going to be a good idea. Not going to be a good idea at all. Instantaneous recall on the Mothership Core. MaNa knows he pushed his luck a little bit there, and he has actually paid the price for it. Alright. So we're going to be stabilizing shortly. Both players have Blink completing. Lilbow is moving out with his Stalker Force. It's 8 versus 10. Oopsie daisy. 8 on the side of MaNa, but he will have the defender's advantage. And we actually have an Immortal being chrono boosted out now from MaNa as well. No such stuff coming out from Lilbow. He's preserving all of his resources to go ahead and warp in more Stalkers. So we got Blink Stalkers on both sides, but fewer Blink Stalkers in favor of an Immortal from MaNa. We also have Guardian Shield available from the Sentry, and here comes Lilbow. Both sides with the Blink Micro. Oh, maybe a single Stalker being blinked a little bit too early there. But both sides just trying to do as much damage as possible. The Immortal coming in now, and not a moment too soon, because Lilbow looked like he was getting the upper hand there. 53 to 46 supply in favor of our French player right now. And he's looking to see if he could boss things up. Oh! Okay. Good blink down, but great blink in as well. And oh, is this going to be a decisive move? Lilbow coming in, instantly picking off the Immortal. MaNa is going to have to try and get a concave up top. He's not able to. Photon Overcharge is going to have to save him here, and that might have been a mistake. I said nice blink down to pick off the single Stalker, but he wasn't anticipating the rest of the army there as well, and that puts MaNa on the back foot. 11 to 9 in terms of Stalkers. That Immortal got killed off for him as well, which is very, very nice for Lilbow, and it looks like he's going to continue to pile on the pressure. He's got the Observer here as well. He's going to wait for Photon Overcharge to finish. There is not enough energy for a second Overcharge here. And I don't know what these players can do, to be perfectly honest. Where's the Observer for MaNa? It's all the way across the other end of the map, which means this Observer is just able to see everything right now. It's fantastically placed, and there's not much MaNa can do about it until his own Observer moves out across the map. But Lilbow might not be giving him time. He's moving straight up the ramp. He's trying to make that numbers advantage count right now. 15 to 12 in terms of Stalkers, and he is inside the base. Here comes the Observer, but it draws the ire of 2 Stalkers, and the Observer from MaNa is actually going to go down as well. Will this be enough to seal the game? Stalker count still 15 to 10 right now. Not all 15 are up here though, because they are being warped in over there. He blinks them straight into the main base. This might be enough, I think, in a dramatic end to this series. Probes are being pulled now, but Lilbow has a decisive advantage now, I think, over MaNa. MaNa blinking down to try and chase down some of these Stalkers, but he's losing more than he bargained for himself. And 21 to 38 supply, 25 to 13 workers. GG, it's enough. Lilbow will advance to the lower bracket finals of the Intel Extreme Masters Gamescom qualifier. Congratulations to Lilbow, commiserations to MaNa in that epic PvP series.